What is going on, guys? So this is going to be about a 30-minute video, roughly. So once the video is done, I'm going to section it off so you can see every 5 or 6 minutes. I'm going to go into the next muscle groups that I'm working and what exercises that I'm using for each one and why exactly I use them. So the purpose of this video is to cover how to mix in isometric training with weightlifting. So for those that are newer to the channel, I've been weightlifting for 14 years. I've picked up isometrics this is still really new in the grand scheme of things. So I've been utilizing isometrics for about 2 years now. There have been some setbacks in the beginning as I had some muscle imbalances and some weakness that I had to focus on before I could really go all in with these strength lifts. So here's what we're going to cover first. We're going to cover my chest and bicep day. Actually, let's cover my split. So my split is chest and bicep, which I found works really well for me. I know the traditional split is chest and tricep. Okay. I do back and tricep. Normally, the traditional split is back and bicep. Okay. I do abs no matter what, 3 days a week. I have 2 leg days a week, and I have a shoulder day. Okay. And in the shoulders, I'm working the trapezius as well. Okay. So let's cover the chest and bicep day first. So for this particular program, it's going to be about 6 to 8 weeks long. My first 3 exercises for my program are the chest press on the Isomax. So I start at the lowest position. I don't have a bench. It's just the Isomax. All right. So I start here. That's I do a 6x6 there, 6x6 mid, 6x6 at the top. That's it. It takes about 12 minutes to do that because you're freaking smoked. You are smoked after doing the first one. Now it's just about survival for mid position and top position. Okay. Once I finish the chest presses, I transition to the bicep curl and I go low, mid, top, 6x6 for all of them. Takes about 12 to 15 minutes to do that. Again, smoked. There is nothing left. I couldn't lift a freaking 5-pound dumbbell after doing all of those bicep curls in a row. I mean, the maximal contractions are just a different beast entirely. So I'm really loving the results so far. Now I'm 2 weeks in. This is my second week utilizing this program. Now, the unique thing about some of the workouts in this program is I've completely nixed the dynamic aspect. So this day is one of them. I don't do any chest exercises in the weight room for about 6 to 8 weeks. I'm not doing any bicep curls or nothing like that. In the weight room about 6 to 8 weeks. So far, I'm already loving it. And the numbers went up from last week. I'm only doing these exercises. The numbers went up. So I'm going to have a video covering the initial numbers and then the end of the program numbers, just so you guys can get a glimpse of that. After I do the 3 chest presses and the 3 bicep curls, I go downstairs. I have a forearm gripper machine that I love. It was worth every penny. Bruce Lee always talked about working your grip, no lift. And you always want to work your grip anyway, because if you don't, your deadlifts is going to suffer. Your lat pull downs are going to suffer. Anything that involves your grip is going to suffer. It's only going to be a fraction of what it could be if your forearms were strong. All right. So it's important to get that. So that's a 3 sets of about 12 to 15 reps downstairs, about a minute break. So if you've never seen that exercise, I can post. In fact, let me make a note. I will post on my next community post what it looks like. Honestly, I highly recommend purchasing it if your living space has the room for it. It's a great machine. I mean, I feel it every freaking time, and it's results that you can feel. Okay. The last exercise is the finger pull on the Isomax. So the finger pull is a not really talked about exercise on this channel. And it's because there's just so many freaking exercises. I just haven't covered it all. And it's been 2 years. I still haven't covered, I haven't gotten the chance to really dive in depth because I can only make 2 videos a week. I'm just like, holy crap, I'm like backed up for months. So I still have it's a lot of content for us to look forward to. So 6x6, my fingers really feel, they don't feel like they're gonna cramp at the end of it, but I definitely feel smoked. Like it's a weird feeling because I don't really do that. I don't really work my my hand muscles like that, you know? It's akin to like rock climbers and stuff. So great exercise. I'm liking that. Again, those numbers are up as well. I only do one 6x6 for that. So 3 6x6 for chest, 3 6x6 for bicep curl, 1 6x6 for finger pull, and then the dynamic forearm gripper machine downstairs for 3 sets of 12 to 15. That is my chest and bicep day. I had to throw some forearms in there. That, to me, that makes the most sense. Day number 2 is leg day number 1. Okay, so how are we doing on time here? About 6 minutes in. Good. I'm right on target. So leg day number 1. I am going to bring this up. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's okay. You can, and I'm just gonna share it. I'm just gonna talk about it. Okay. So the first exercise for my leg day number 1 is the hack squat. So the hack squat I really like because that really works my quadriceps well. So it's all about the foot positioning there. So I'm placing them a little below the midpoint on the pad for the hack squat. Right now, I'm loading up 6 plates, so it's about 540 pounds. I'm doing a reverse banding technique where it's taking some of the load off the bottom and it's putting it right in the middle of that lift. So I'm getting all the benefits without really having to worry about getting stuck. And my legs are like, they're shaking like the little the giraffe meme, you know, when they're first born, their legs are all over the place. That's what it feels like after that. So I'm doing 4 sets of 10 reps with the hack squat. Okay, it's about a 90-second rest time. Sometimes it is so intense I take 2 minutes. Like today, I can only do 90 seconds for the first, and then the second, third, and fourth sets, I unfortunately had to take 2 minutes. It was just smoked. Okay. After that, I do the calf raise. All right. So there's another dynamic. So there's 2 dynamics so far. Okay. So the standing calf raise I do with the belt squat machine that I have downstairs. I really feel like I can get the maximum amount of stretch and flex in my calves. My gastrocnemius feels like it's going to pop out of my skin. I do 3 sets of 50 reps. I mean, there's nothing left in the gastroc once I'm done. And that's part of why my calves have been growing so well this year. Is because simply a lot of people don't do enough volume for them to grow. The calves really require a lot of volume. That 3 sets of 10 for calves just does not work. And if you have been doing 3 sets of 10 for calves, don't. Increase the volume. The load also has to be a certain amount as well. So 3 sets of 50, about 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. But I'd like to keep the rest time low to really keep that burn going. It's been working well so far. Then we're going to go right back into the pin selector leg press. So again, this is quadricep dominant. So I'm placing my feet at the bottom of the leg press, and I'm really focusing on isotension, right? And I'm tightening up my quadriceps as I'm pushing through the range of motion with the leg press. I do not lock my knees, and I do 3 sets of 12 to 15, 90-second rest times. Again, really increasing the whole metabolic effect. Everything's burning. It's hard to breathe. Yeah, all that stuff. That's what we want. Okay. So those are 3 sets for that leg press. We have the hip thrust. Now we have a hip thrust machine at the house, at the gym that I train my clients out of, right? So I do 3 sets of 10. My glutes being stronger is one of the key factors to why I don't have lower back issues anymore. My lower back issues came from a triple threat of my core was actually weak. My ass was weak. Okay. And then I also had my lower back itself, which was weak. It was just, so that's why in the beginning of the channel's history, I would often complain about my back hurting because those 3 areas were weak, you know, and everything comes from your center. Okay. So it's important to make sure that you have those pieces in place and that they're strong. Okay. So 3 sets of 10, about 90 seconds to 2 minutes for the hip thrust. And then I go right back into now the tibialis anterior raise to really work the outside of the calf. Technically, it's not the calf muscle, it's the tibialis anterior muscle. It comes around the side. Same concept with the gastroc. 3 sets of 50. Again, working really well. My calves have never looked like this. They still have a little bit to go, but they've never looked like this before, ever. I wish I had been using that. I wish I knew about that machine years ago, but you know, better late than never. I am utilizing a drop set technique for the leg extension. So I go 8, 10, 12. So I'll go for one session, like say, for example, today I did 3 sets of 8 at a new weight. So 8 at 235, 8 at 230, 8 at 225. So that's 24 total reps. I rest for 90 seconds to 2 minutes. Do it again, 235, 230, 225, 888, break, boom. On Friday, when I do leg day number 2, I'm going to do 10, right? And then next Tuesday, I'm going to do 12. The 12s are always a brutal. And then once I'm able to do 12, then I'm going to go up in weight. Then it's going to be 240, 235, 230. Does that make sense? So you can always come back to this video and listen to it at your leisure. So that's what I do there. The leg curl, I've always been hamstring dominant. So my quads are playing catch up. So I don't need to do a drop set. So I don't need that much volume. As a result, I do 3 sets of 10. I'm very explosive off the concentric phase of the movement, and I control it. I control the eccentric. There's no isometric pauses because of the isomax leg exercises that I do. So you're going to hear about that at the very end. And then we are done because, like I said, there's 2 leg days, and the only difference between the other leg day is, remember I told you I do that hip thrust, I swap it for the RDL. Okay, so one leg day is the hip thrust, one leg day is the RDL. So there's no need for me to go over leg day number 2 because that's the only difference between the 2. Same thing, 3 sets of 10 for the RDL. Right now I'm pulling about 405. 8 to 10, it's really tough. It really makes me pukey, but so be it. I haven't had any lower back issues because I've been working my glutes, because I've been working my core, and because I've been utilizing the Isomax. So I have a lot of power off rip with the concentric phase. Does that make sense? So after that, okay, so I have 2 leg days. All right, so Monday is the chest and bicep on the Isomax. Tuesday is leg day number 1. Wednesday is the back and tricep day. Okay, so I'm not going to bring it up, but let me open this real quick so we have an idea. I know there's some pull-ups in there as a finisher because I love using calisthenics as a finisher. I think it is freaking amazing. If you don't do it, I think you should try it. And here we go. So we have the lat machine wide grip pull down. So right now, what I'm focusing on is I'm looking to really increase the width of my lats. So I want them wider. Okay, they're very strong. They've been strong for a while. Now I want to increase the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. What's up, General Kai? I want to increase the sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. So I want to increase the width. I want to be able to fly on them. You know what I mean? So I'm doing a lot of wide grip pull downs. They are tougher than close grip. A lot tougher. I really feel it. It's really hard to move after that. And that's fine. That's what I want. Okay. Next, what I'm doing is I am utilizing the barbell skull crusher. Now, what's really cool about this is the barbell skull crusher in the weight room used to be an impossibility for roughly like 2 years right before I started using the iso chain. This one, I don't know, like this one kind of bothered me, but the left elbow was just, it hated any acute angle, anything regarding my tricep. It went right to my elbow in a way that was almost as painful as my left knee, that whole issue before I started the isometric training. I haven't had a single problem, none. So I'm able to, and I really like that it hits the long head of the tricep. So I like to do skull crusher. So I'm really glad that I've been doing all that isometric work on the iso chain and now Isomax, because I can hit my freaking skull crusher now. Because I don't want to say heal. I mean, there's definitely been some healing involved in the joint there, but that's the reason why I can do that. So you better believe I'm going to take advantage of it. So I do 3 sets of 10 with the barbell skull crusher. I really like how low I'm able to get. So nice and control, boom. Okay. And then after that, I go right back into another back exercise, was the cable seated wide grip row. So normally I grab let me bring this down here. Normally I grab a close grip piece. You know how, like, if you've ever been to the gym and they have like the close grip piece and you see the cable row, and usually it's like here. So you're kind of like this at the end. I actually don't. It's easier to do that for the same reason that it's easier to do a closer grip pull down, right? But as soon as you widen that up, it's a whole different ballgame. Okay. So what I'm doing is there's a I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Prime equipment, but it's like this green and black equipment that our gym owner, he invested in that equipment. I'm really glad he did. So I want the wide grip because just for the same reason, I want my lats. I want that sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. So I'm coming in wide, really focused on driving the elbows back. Okay. I still have 2 Isomax exercises, which I do first before all the stuff. I just wanted to cover this first so you guys understand why I'm doing all these wide grip stuff. Okay. Bench dips have just been such a freaking staple in my workouts. I love doing bench dips. I do the bench dips with my feet on another bench and really get down low into the contraction. I actually do them pretty fast. So to the average onlooker, you might be like, man, why is Chris doing them like so fast? So for one, all right, it matters depending on how you're training. Okay. So I like to be explosive. So I'm not going to slow the movement up because I don't really care about sarcoplasmic hypertrophy here. I want to be explosive off rip. So I'm training for that. And so now I'm just increasing the speed, but I'm still taking it to failure. So what's the most important aspect that we need for growth in any training? We need to take that muscle group to failure. Okay. So even if the speed is high, unless the range of motion is like this, right, that's on you. You know what I mean? But I'm getting the full range of motion to failure. I can't move. I can't move. And I love the dip because it works all 3 heads of the tricep. It's part of why my arms are so big over the years. It's because I've always been doing dips. There's, if you guys have read Convict Conditioning by Paul Wade, the same guy that made the Isometric manual, he talks about the bench dip and why that's such a staple for those that are incarcerated. So the wide grip pull down, the wide grip pull up, another wide grip exercise. Who knew, right? Same concept. This is the finisher now. I want to take it to failure. Right? So I'm wide as possible. They are a lot harder than close grip pull-ups. Taking them to failure, 3 sets of failure, calisthenics, can't go wrong. And then I have the cable rope tricep extension. I really like the rope tricep extension because I'm able to, when I come down here, I'm able to extend it out. That little extension there makes all the difference. If you've done the rope tricep extension, it makes all the difference. And I do like the cable, the straight bar push down. It's good. This one's better because you get that extra little range of motion that's going to make the difference with the tricep. And pardon me, I actually switched it up. I do the rope tricep extension first and then the bench dip because the bench dip and the pull down are the final ones to failure. Now, the 2 Isomax exercises that I do on back in tricep day are the Isomax seated row, and I do the tricep press. Okay, I have to do those first. I want to be able to do those first because of one what's called the immediate after effect, which I still haven't made a video on. I really need to do that, but also because they require the most effort. it's at the top end of the force velocity curve. I want to do that first. It's just like you wouldn't throw a deadlift at the end of your workout where it's requiring the most amount of energy, right? These 100% 6-second contractions require the most amount of energy. Why would you put that at the end? You need to be able to do that first and then have all the rest of it come afterwards. Even if the numbers are low for the dynamic stuff, it doesn't matter. That you want to program that stuff first. Okay. After that, we have leg day number 2, which I already talked about. So that's going to bring us to shoulders. Before I get to shoulders, I want to answer this. I figured my bicep curl on the Isomax goes from strap number 10 to 22 range where it feels comfortable to hold, but pain radiates from my upper back to my neck and skull whenever I do 19 or above. What I would do is whatever causes pain like that, don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. That sounds like something where you might want to, like, unless I had a video to see it, I'm not exactly sure how to help. And sometimes there are certain circumstances that are outside of, for personal trainers, what's called scope of practice. So for that sounds like it's a little out of my scope of practice. So you might want to consult a doctor to make sure that everything's all right up there. That is actually not normal. So definitely take a look at that when you get a chance. Now the shoulder day, I was a little I was a little apprehensive to do this because right now what I'm chasing what's called the golden ratio, if you guys are familiar. So the golden ratio is you take measurements of your wrist, you take measurements of your knee, and you take measurements of your waist, and then based off of those initial 3 measurements, you're able to find out what are the optimal measurements for the rest of your body, meaning your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your thighs, and your calves. Okay, that's what I'm chasing right now. I just hit my shoulder golden ratio. So right now, the only things that need golden ratioed up are my thighs and my calves, which are doing so freaking good because of all this volume. All right. And I can't wait to tell you guys about the leg Isomax stuff I'm doing for that as well. Okay, so what I'm doing there is I decided, since I just hit it, right, I'm going to start working on the myofibrillar hypertrophy. So that's what a lot of this stuff is good at. It's the same reasoning I'm doing the Isomax for chest and bicep, because I really don't care to get any extra sarcoplasmic hypertrophy on my chest. I feel like it looks good. My arms, I really don't care if they get bigger. I think they look good. But what I do want to do is make them more powerful. I do want to make this more powerful. Now I want to see all the striations. Now I want to get inside and make that more powerful. I want to get those connective tissues and make that more powerful and stronger. All right. It's longevity now. I'm 33 years old. I want to make sure I'm training for longevity, not just show muscles. Does that make sense? Okay. So with that in mind, my shoulder exercises, I have 3 shoulder presses. Like the video from 2 weeks ago, low, mid, high, 6x6, 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 takes about 12 to 15 minutes. I do the shoulder shrug, conventional grip. I don't want to do mixed grip right now because I really want to focus on my grip. So 6x6, 1 round of 6x6. I do also do a dynamic shoulder shrug at the gym. They got this new piece of equipment that's really easy to do shoulder shrugs. I love it. I love the the burn I get off of that. It's freaking awesome. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to stop doing that. I like to do that. And then we have the 2 Isomax front raises. So 1 here and 1 here. I feel like having 1 here is a bit overkill. Trust me, I can barely move my shoulders at the end of that shoulder session. So, but I like it. I do like it, and I'm really liking the results so far. I can't wait to see what week 6 or to 8 are going to look like. But so far it's working great. So that leaves us with abs, because you notice I didn't talk about it, and the Isomax exercises I do on my non-leg days. Okay, so on leg days I don't do any Isomax exercises. Every other day, I do 8 Isometrics exercises. This is probably one of the most significant changes that I've made to my program, especially because it's a hybrid program. So before I was doing something similar to like Bruce Lee's 1x6 or like the Sweet 16. It was just like always a mix of doing one exercise once. And I'm like, okay, well, it's time to really focus on a specific area of my body. And I really want some super solid legs. Okay. They're already strong. I just want to really solidify them. That is my goal. This whole year, my calves have been my goal, and also my thighs. So I'm just like, all right, well, then let's just go all in. Let's just go all in. So let's talk about that, and then I'll talk about the abs at the very end. Okay, so our Isomax exercises that we're doing, this takes about 8 minutes. I really love that it takes 8 minutes. It is the Jefferson squat. This is the squat where you have the bar in between your legs. Okay, and I'm doing 2x6 for that. So 2 rounds of 6-second contractions. That's it. Is very quadricep dominant, and I love how it feels. You just have to make sure that you have your chin up and your chest out and your core tight. All right. You don't want to be leaning over doing the Jefferson squat. You want everything underneath, in center, and driving up using the quads, not your butt and lower back, or you're going to run into an issue. The other 3 exercises are the hack squat, because it's really freaking good. 2x6. All right. So 2 rounds of 6-second contractions. Okay. And then we have the sissy squat, because my knees feel brand new every time I finish them. It kind of is like not painful like it used to be, but like I feel like a pressure building up when I do sissy squats. But as soon as I'm done, man, dude, I feel like I could like bend down and freaking spring to the moon. Like I just really love the feeling of my knees, because they used to hurt before. And then the last one, the last 6-second contraction I'm doing 2 of are the calf raise. Conventional grip and blasting through the calves, 2x6 there. So I'm doing 2x6 hack, 2x6 Jefferson, 2x6 sissy, 2x6 calf raise for a total of 8, right? So 4 exercises that I'm doing twice. Before I was doing 8 exercises anyway, but it was total body. So I just swapped all that and distributed it equally throughout the rest of the workout program. You see what I did there? Now, I want you to understand that, like, when I made this, I had to make sure that I wasn't just losing all those strength gains that I was getting with the 1x6. The 1x6 works. It's just a little bit of a slow grind, but it does work. So that's going to bring us to our abs. Now, without abs, a lot of these increases on the Isomax probably wouldn't be as good, because if you've noticed, if you have strong iso tension in your core, a lot of these, you're just able to get a higher number, because everything comes from your center. It's not just like one of those phrases where it's just like, oh yeah, that's cool in theory. It's not theory. If you have a strong core, you are able to do a lot more than someone who doesn't. If you take somebody at the same physical level and one has a strong core and one doesn't, you are stronger than them. You're able to lift more, you're able to pull more, push more, press more, everything more, because your core is stronger. And there's a reason why Bruce was pushing that too. And you saw what happened with him. So my core exercises are only 3, and I do these 3 sets of anywhere between 8 to 12 reps 3 times a week. They are all dynamic in nature. And they are the torso rotation exercise, which I have in the sunroom. I love that freaking thing. My obliques are always on fire at the end of it. I cannot sing that machine enough praises. It's a great machine. It's a great machine. The abdominal crunch, the seated abdominal crunch, these are pin selector machines. If you're unfamiliar with pin selector, it's like what you usually see at like Planet Fitness or Crunch or whatever in the States. If you're out of the States, it's like our box gym. So you just take the pin, slide it in the corresponding weight number, and then that's what pin selector means. Okay. And then what we do is for the torso rotation, 10 on each side. So once I do 10 on the left, 10 on the right, that's 1. 10 on the left, 10 on the right, that's 2. 10 on the left, 10 on the right. I'm done with that machine. The ab crunch is 3 sets of, again, anywhere between 8 to 12 reps, depending on how I'm progressing. And the last one is the captain's chair leg lift. So that is the one where you have to kind of raise yourself. I mean, I have it downstairs, but I can't bring my laptop down there. So we're being held like this, and our feet are dangling off the floor. And then we're just bringing our legs up like that. You want to keep your knees as straight as possible. And this is going to work the lower abs. The lower abs are the most stubborn piece. The lower abs are the toughest part of the abdominal region to work. The rectus abdominis, the top 4, is by far the easiest. The lower abs are usually the ones that come in at the very end, the ones where you're just like, I am doing everything that I need to do. Why are these not here yet? Usually once your body fat is the lowest, that's when you're going to see those. All right. So you're getting rectus abdominis, lower abs, and the internal, external obliques. Everything correlated is now taken care of. I do that 3 times a week, and that's it. That is my program. I was thinking about adding an abdominal Isomax crunch, but I don't want to do that yet. I really want to build up the dynamic first, and I'm going to incorporate Isomax stuff later. So that is my program, and I want to I want to answer this question. How many times a week are you training a muscle, say shoulders, isometrically in this new programming? I wonder what the equation between frequency and weekly volume look like in isometrics. So I am training a muscle. So directly for shoulders, I'm doing it once. I've always done that, where I work that muscle directly once. So I've always had a shoulder day once a week. So again, for this shoulder day, it's 5 different exercises: shoulder press, shoulder press, shoulder press, front raise, and you count the trap as well. So that's 6. Okay. Now the shoulders are getting worked in the chest press. So if you want to count compound lifts where you're working more than just one muscle group, then that number increases. So you're getting even more shoulder work, which, it is important to, even the shoulder press is a compound movement in and of itself, because you're working the delt, you're also working the tricep for shoulder press. If that makes sense. It's the same thing with the back and tricep, and then the bicep curl on the chest day. So on my back and tricep day, I'm doing all those wide grip, so I'm working the lats. I'm also working the biceps just by the nature of that compound movement. And then on that chest and bicep day that I do on Monday, I'm working the bicep itself. So I'm hitting the biceps again. Okay. So it's actually getting dynamic and isometric. That last part where you said, I wonder what the equation between frequency and weekly volume look like in isometrics. I made a video last year on what 6x6 really means in the grand scheme of things. And without you having to go back, I'll save you some time. 6x6 and its dynamic equivalent is, just think of it as 3 sets of 10. So like dynamically, you think 3 sets of 10 is like that nice mid-range between strength and hypertrophy, which is why most beginners do 3 sets of 10, because they're getting, if you lower the reps, it's more into the strength rep range. And if you go increase the reps to like 15 and above, it's more endurance, right? But if you have that nice sweet spot, 10, you're getting strength and hypertrophy. Okay, so, and it's the same thing with 6x6, and they mentioned that in Paul Wade's isometric manual. So I immediately put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, this is the same freaking thing, just static. It's the same thing. Definitely feels like the same thing. All right, I missed 2. How soon will I notice strength improvements with overcoming isometrics? I will buy myself a chain to start with it. Greetings from Germany. Germany, what time is it over there, bro? How soon will you notice strength improvements? Man, you'll notice it the next week. So what I mean by that is, if you're able to see the number, then you're going to know, you're immediately going to start. You don't just do, for example, let's just say we're doing shoulder press and you get 40 pounds and you do like a 6x6, and it's going to go down 40, 37, 36, 32, 29, 25, right? That's probably like a typical 6x6 for shoulder press. Next week, you're gonna get higher. You're gonna always have your off week. I'm not gonna, sit here and blow smoke in your face. Like, you're always gonna have that off week where you're feeling ready. It's just like, how did I get like 20s this whole time? Like, I don't understand. It's part of the process. But in general, you're gonna see that next week. Now, as far as feeling it, that's gonna take a while. But like on paper, mathematically, yeah, it's as soon as you start lifting, your body is going to, in the recovery process, okay, it's going to recover to make itself able to handle whatever forces and demands you place upon it, because our body is built for survival. So for example, if I'm bench pressing 225, as the muscle fibers are recovering, they're essentially saying, oh my God, that was a lot of repetitions at that weight. Let's restructure ourselves so that if Chris ever puts himself in that situation again, we can more efficiently push that weight off of him so he doesn't get crushed and die. That's the basis of all training. That's progressive overload. So it doesn't matter whether it's dynamic or whether it's static. It's the same concept, if that makes sense. 1933. Seven o'clock. Cool. It's 1:34 p.m. here. Or 13:33 here. So weird. All right, guys. Hopefully you got value out of this. Feel free to reference it whenever you need. I am out of here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you next video this week.